obviously we would suggest that to all the brands as to set up their storefront when they are brand registered. But I also think that it's going to be a huge push in the future of Amazon as they continue to be more and more brand focused and aware of brands, what they need, and what makes them successful. Whether it's a new product or it's an established company that just has not gotten into Amazon yet, I'd like to say that it's never too late to hop in. It would be equivalent to in the 1990s, early 2000s saying we were too late to make a website. It's never too late. So involved with Amazon, it's going to continue to be a huge part of commerce moving forward. I don't see it going anywhere.
This is the Ecommerce Braintrust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our Braintrust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Ecommerce Braintrust. On the podcast today, I have with me Jesse Chembars, who is a project manager here at Bobsled Marketing. And he's joining us today to talk about how brands can leverage their presence outside of Amazon in order to promote either their whole brand launch on Amazon or new product launches on Amazon. So welcome to the podcast, Jesse.
Hey, Julie, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience related to Amazon before we dig into the topic of the day?
Sure. I've been working with companies, both private label brands and branded products for roughly 6 years now. I started back in 2012, and I've been part of the Amazon world ever since. It's something that I absolutely love and I find absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, you're kind of the Amazon news junkie on the team. You really enjoy the Amazon updates du jour, as there's usually like 5 a day.
Yes, definitely. There's never a dull moment with Amazon, whether it's talking about Whole Foods or, starting up their own insurance company for their employees. It's never a dull moment.
No, talk about innovation. That company is all over it.
Absolutely.
So on Bobsled's team, this topic aligns really well with the work that you do directly here on Bobsled's team. Why don't you talk a little bit about the client base that you serve as a part of the team as a project manager?
Sure. So I work with predominantly launch clients. So anybody who's coming to Amazon for the first time, or if they're wanting to make a transition from one platform to the next, going from vendor to seller, seller to vendor, I work with them to make sure that they are educated and knowledgeable about what is needed to be successful on Amazon. I work with the launch clients.
Got it. And as we know, the learning curve when you're new to Amazon can be quite steep. So it's good to have for these clients to have someone to guide them through and acquaint them with the idiosyncrasies of selling on Amazon.
Yes, definitely. A lot of people don't understand, what it takes to be successful on Amazon, or really what it takes to sell, period, on Amazon. They think, they put their product up there and do $1 million the first year. And it's definitely not that easy. So I enjoy working with those clients and bringing them up to speed on the knowledge that they need to be successful on Amazon.
So in order for them to be successful on Amazon and for their launch to really take hold, what are the factors that really come into play that you need to hit in order to have a successful product launch on Amazon?
Well, you definitely have to have, first off, a great product. So that always helps everything. Past that, you need to have, somebody like us helping you to make sure that you're moving through the launch process, both accurately and in a fast pace. But you need a great product. You need a great promotional strategy. So whether that's going to be a marketing strategy on Amazon, or if you have an off Amazon social media campaign or influencer campaign that you can take advantage of, that absolutely helps. And then, also somebody who's dedicated to making sure that Amazon's going to grow. Really, I tell my launch clients one of the best things that they can do to be successful on Amazon is make sure that they have somebody there focusing on this day in and day out.
Yeah, we talk about it. I think Kiri and I have talked about it a number of times on the podcast, and definitely through our blog posts and everything. But Amazon is not a set and forget platform. You have to be vigilant in monitoring your account in order to not only maintain a status quo, but if you have any hopes of growing, you have to be on a daily basis.
Yes, absolutely. Again, it has, harvested the image of it just being a set it and forget it platform and something very easy to do. But, as we see and with these updates, talking about Amazon news and updates, things are changing with Amazon, on a daily basis. Just, recently we came out with the new fees for 2018 with long-term storage fees being charged on a monthly basis instead of a semi-annual basis. Those types of changes are what require you to stay on top of Amazon on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Yeah, those long-term storage fee changes are really, that's going to be a whole other level of staying on top of things, to be on top of those, to ward those off.
Definitely.
Well, in terms of the actual almighty algorithm that is oh so important to get your product found on Amazon, what are the factors within the A9 that a brand needs to pay attention to when they're launching a new product on Amazon? Like, what pieces do you want to really hit in order for your product to be found with greater frequency in customer searches?
Well, you're definitely going to have optimized content. So you're going to need to make sure that you're hitting the keywords, in your titles, in your bullet points, in your description, to make sure that you're going to be user and search friendly. You've got to have sales, obviously. With sales, you have your bestseller rank. That's clearly important. And then also reviews on both the seller side and the product side are all key in making sure that you hit on the algorithm.
Yeah. So the legwork pre-launch of getting an optimized listing up, making sure it's primed for SEO and conversions and all of that is important to help drive customers to your product page, drive those sales, drive up your BSR. And then eventually you get those reviews and star ratings in. And those are all like kind of the data points that you want to hit in a launch in order to build the foundation that you can grow from.
Yes. And then it turns into a beautiful snowball. The more reviews that you get, the more that you're going to be promoted. Or the more opportunity you have to be promoted, both on the seller or seller reviews and product reviews. As your bestseller rank goes up, you continue to drive up into the algorithm. Sales continue to help drive that. So once you get the ball rolling, it's a very positive thing for the growth.
So getting that ball rolling, that can be the tricky piece. So if you are a brand that has a presence off of Amazon, why are some brands resistant to leveraging that presence off of Amazon in order to promote a product launch?
I think it's a somewhat twofold. So I think first off, it's somewhat of a new concept to take their social media or their any kind of external to Amazon groups that they have and to push them into Amazon. It's just something that's relatively new to say, I'm going to reach out to my Instagram followers, I'm going to reach out to my Facebook followers, and I'm going to tell them that I have a sale on Amazon and I want to drive traffic to Amazon. So it being a new concept is one. And I think the other issue is, there are some brands that do have a successful presence on their own private website. And, in their eyes, if they drive traffic to Amazon, they're potentially losing percentage points on the fees that they owe to Amazon. So I think that's something that businesses and clients have to determine themselves, what strategy they would like to pursue, but ultimately combining those tools of social media influencer campaigns or any kind of offsite support that you have outside of Amazon, driving that to Amazon is something that all brands and I would suggest clients look at moving forward.
Yeah, that cannibalization of their own brand website is something that a lot of brands are obviously and understandably concerned about. So the balancing, I kind of see it as a balancing act to leverage your presence outside of Amazon for the benefit of Amazon while still trying to grow your presence off the marketplace as well. So what are some strategies that either you've seen implemented or you've implemented with your own clients?
I've had 2 or 3 clients that have been able to be successful with it just because varying sizes of, followers that you have on these different types of social media platforms. But I've had 2 clients that it's actually worked out very well for. They've had anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 followers on their social media side, and we would be able to send out posts. We would pair up a promotion on Amazon for 15 or 25% off their product. And I would suggest them like, hey, let's go ahead and make a couple postings on Instagram, for instance. We're going to run the sale for 2 weeks and make 3 posts. Here's the sale. It's going to be ending soon. Last day. Get it while you can. And I've seen some good results. Absolutely. We've seen increase in sales with that. And again, this is on a smaller side and a smaller scale with, 5,000 followers. You take that to a 20,000 or a 50,000 follower operation, which, many of our clients could achieve that. and you could see some huge results. But I've seen posts that have gone up for a product, a new product, with one client, and within a couple hours you could see 4 units sold for this product, and prior to that they were not selling whatsoever. So I've seen some very positive results from pairing up social media posts with promotions on Amazon.
And so in those cases too, it sounds like kind of in the effort of maintaining that balance that we mentioned just a bit ago, that they were very time limited, and it was a small window of time that they were promoting the Amazon sale of the product on their social media. So it wasn't a month-long promo push. It was very time limited and focused with an effort on driving in a short window some sales.
Yes, definitely.
So was that in the interest of balancing their presence off of Amazon as well?
Well, definitely the interest of the balance, but also, this, again, since this has been a new concept for us moving forward, it was much more of a test also. So since that test, I've ran several, generally 1 week, 2 week time period. But yeah, absolutely. In between those posts where they're saying get it on Amazon, they are still running or can still run promotions on their own website in a different format and a different fashion, which allows them to put to their website and then also back to Amazon.
Mm-hmm. And so some other kind of tried and true strategies could be just sending discount coupons to your subscriber list to promote the launch on Amazon. Have you seen much of a success rate with that, or is that a strategy that is used in a more limited fashion now with more of an emphasis on social media?
I've seen more on a more of an emphasis on social media here recently. The client lists are absolutely great if a brand is willing to do that. But again, in my experience, I've seen that goes into somewhat of the cannibalization of their own website. And if they have that private list that they've been paying for, they've been building up, sometimes they are hesitant, again, to push them to Amazon. But at the same token, one of the reasons that I do suggest that clients or businesses, brands, use Amazon and, potentially have a little bit of cannibalization of their own website is due to the fact that Amazon buyers are very comfortable with Amazon, and they've proven that over and over and over again. A lot of consumers don't want to go and fill out their information or want to go through the extended process of ordering when they can just go do a 1-click or a 2-click on Amazon.
Yep. Yeah, that convenience factor is strong.
Yes.
Well, and along those lines too, the convenience and ease of posting the link on social media versus maintaining an email campaign for a promotion. It's easier for the brand or the seller in that regard as well.
Yes, absolutely. You're going to do some artwork for either one of those, but, doing one piece and not having to worry about all the bounce back rates or anything like that, letting it get out there, to the people. With a list, there's always the possibility that somebody got on the list and maybe they were a one-time customer or they don't have a deep interest. And with your social media following, these people are following you because they, like what you're posting and really like the information or the product you're putting out there. So, it's a bit more of a directed approach too.
That makes sense. That's a good point there. The increased benefits of being a registered brand on Seller Central, one of them being a brand storefront. How do you see that playing a role in leveraging your brand for the purposes of a launch?
It's a great way to start your launch with a professional look, with that storefront, putting in the time and the effort to make sure that, the storefront pages, can look very much like an outside web page, with the customability and being able to drive customers there for a launch. Maybe you could lead with your strongest product, but if you had a wider product base, you could drive them into, I wanted product A, but look at that, you also have product B, and I was looking for one of those. So storefronts are a great tool with the brands. Obviously, we would suggest that to all the brands is to set up their storefront when they are brand registered. But I also think that it's going to be a huge push in the future of Amazon as they continue to be more and more brand focused and aware of brands, what they need, and what makes them successful.
Yeah, I think the use of a storefront in launch is a really smart way to go, because you can have a URL and you put it on social media, you drive your customer base to your storefront. You can even have a promotions tab all set up in your storefront where the products that you're launching or whatever sector of your catalog you're really trying to drive sales for, whether it be through launch or to address those long-term storage fees that we mentioned earlier. I think the storefront can be, again, about efficiency and ease. Introduce a whole array of your products to the customer in one fell swoop just by including that URL in either your email blast to a customer base or through social media.
Yes, definitely. And again, I'd have to say, just to touch on that one last time, is I do think that we will continue to see where we find clients have a customer base that will convert from their direct sites over to Amazon because they are Amazon brand loyal and Amazon shopping experience loyal. So I think the storefront will continue to an even more powerful tool.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Yeah, one anecdote I have of a brand was leveraging their presence off of Amazon for the benefit of Amazon was they really kind of played up to one of the greatest features of buying off of Amazon is the Prime eligibility and the quick shipping timeline. And so what this brand did is they drove traffic to their own brand website all through the holiday season. And then when it came to, I think, what was Christmas on a Sunday this year?
Yeah,
Monday?
I believe so.
I can't keep track. But at whatever point, the brand themselves and their own shipping capabilities, they wouldn't be able to get gifts to customers in time for the Christmas holiday. Whenever they bumped up against that window, the next day, they sent out emails driving customers to Amazon because they could guarantee that Amazon would get the products to the customers in time. And so it was a really smart, strategic way of leveraging not only their brand presence off of Amazon, but then one of the key benefits of selling on Amazon is the fulfillment feature. So I bow down to that. I liked that strategy there.
Yes, definitely. I remember reading about that, internally. And, I thought it was an amazing strategy. And it's a great way for them to, you said, leverage the tool, but also kind of accept where things are going. Again, with Amazon being such a powerhouse and continuing to develop its brand loyalty and its buying style loyalty, with the 2-day shipping. That's great that the client was able to leverage that.
Yes. Yeah. Smart move on their part. Given that we can see the benefits of leveraging your presence outside of Amazon for the benefit of a promotion or a launch, what's the impact when brands don't go that route, whether it's because of their own margins, their strong concerns about cannibalization, or sometimes brands still aren't wedded to Amazon as a platform. They're not sure they want their products on Amazon. And so they're doing a test run. What's the impact on a launch when we see the lack of promoting off of Amazon?
I think it can just really be it makes it difficult for them to gain traction, especially if they have any form of decent presence. Again, around that 5,000, 3,000 follower level. That's a lot of eyeballs that you can get on your product and a lot of potential relikes and reposts that you can, have on a launch or on your product or on a promotion. And when they don't take advantage of that, it really can slow things down. Again, as we move forward with, with our lives and into the future, social media is just going to continue to become a bigger and bigger part of our day-to-day interactions. People want to see reviews, and on social media, you're talking with people that and, if they say, hey, I found this product, I like it can really help out. You expand the possibilities of increased traffic. And, if they push back against that and don't take advantage of it, they're really just doing themselves a disservice.
Yeah, it really does. Like you said, it just extends the window of time that it takes to actually gain footing and gain any traction on Amazon. There are other levers that can be pulled, but if Amazon's all about momentum, and so when you enter the market, you want to build momentum as strongly and as quickly as you can. So leveraging your brand outside of the marketplace is a good way to go. Do you have any other parting words for brands as they're considering launch on Amazon?
I think we covered a lot here. I know one of the things that I did want to touch on is, we do hear quite a few brands that say, hey, maybe we're too late to the game. And being on the launch side with, whether it's a new product or it's an established company that just has not gotten into Amazon yet, I'd like to say that it's never too late to hop in. It would be equivalent to in the 1990s, early 2000s saying we were too late to make a website. It's never too late. So involved with Amazon, it's going to continue to be a huge part of commerce moving forward. I don't see it going anywhere. If you are considering launching, of course, come talk to us because we're going to do the best that we can to make sure that you're successful on Amazon. And, with the social aspect that we've touched on, make sure to use your social media influencer campaigns or your social media presence. If you have it, use it as a tool. It's there. And like we talked about, it's going to continue to be a bigger and bigger part of selling and being successful on Amazon.
I agree. And I think using the tools, using your social media presence, it's not something that you need to push your Amazon presence on a daily basis to your followers. It can be truly for the celebration of a launch so that you really drive drive the sales in that window of time. And then you can move back to driving customers to your branded website. So you can achieve a balancing act, achieve success with the balancing act, but any extra boost you can give your product and your brand on Amazon when you enter into that vast marketplace, it's well worth the effort.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Jesse. It was great talking with you, and we're definitely going to need to have you back on the podcast again soon.
Well, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed talking with you, and especially about this topic with launches. And I look forward to being on another podcast with you.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks, Jesse.
Well, thanks, Julie, for organizing that interview with Jesse. It was really great to get his perspective as a project manager managing exactly this type of promotional launch for our clients on Amazon.
Yeah, it was nice to dig in with a clear subject matter expert. This is what he lives and breathes each day when he's at work. And so he had some good perspective to share with us on the topic.
Yeah. Yeah, what I really liked about this, that there's a lot of themes that have come up over and over again in all our content on the podcast, on our blog, everywhere, is you need to have a great product and you need to have a team who's focused on Amazon. It's not just set and forget. And so I wanted to call out a previous podcast episode where we talk about who needs to be on your Amazon team. And obviously at Bobsled Marketing, this is what we do day in, day out. We have specialists who deal with just PPC. We have specialist project managers who manage the strategy and implementation of a project. We have operations support team. So we have all these individuals on our team as an agency that are assigned to each client account. But if you're a brand who wants to keep those processes internal and you want to run the entire channel internally, then it's good for you to also understand there's a lot of individual skills and talents that are required here. And it's, in my opinion, more or less impossible to find a single person who's good at everything. So I recommend you go back and listen to that episode. We'll link to it in the show notes, but for your reference, it is episode number 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Building out that team is really important because what Jesse and I touch upon here in our conversation is how to leverage your brand outside of Amazon. And we talked a bit about what it takes to optimize your presence on Amazon, but we didn't dig into each aspect of that very deeply. That's more the episode that you were talking about, Carrie, that there's a lot in order to keep a healthy and strong presence on Amazon. And a lot of it is specialist driven. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, today's conversation is about kind of outside Amazon coming in. The one that you're referencing is really looking deeply into your presence on Amazon and what it takes to make that strong.
Well, yeah, great point. I think you need to have both. I mean, you need to have people, if you're going to be able to leverage outside email list or fans on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, then you need to have people that are good at those, who are owning those platforms, as well as on the Amazon side of things too. And so I thought it was a really great point that one of the points that Jesse made was about using those social media networks to distribute coupons, and that he's seen success with that approach for brands with as few as a couple thousand followers. And I thought that was a really great point. It doesn't mean you need to have a huge following or be posting all the time about your Amazon coupons and promotions to your list. It can be short and focused and for a limited time. You don't need to be promoting your Amazon channel till the end of time. It can be based around a launch, or as you also pointed out, around specific times of the year where your other fulfillment channels might be running low on inventory, or you don't have a way to get the product to the customer in 2 days.
Yeah, I that's one of my favorite stories about a brand smartly leveraging their brand presence off of Amazon and taking advantage of one of the benefits of selling on Amazon. Yeah. That's a brand that is reconciled yes, what the presence on Amazon means. And kind of with the social media presence, just going back to that a bit, I liked the distinction that Jesse made when I asked about sending coupons to like an email list. And the distinction he made was that you could have people on your email list that bought one product from you and they somehow ended up on your email list. But if people are following you on social media, they're making the choice to follow you, and the likelihood that they're more committed to your brand and your products and they're more loyal to your brand is stronger. And so that is a good group to target and sharing those coupons and driving them for a lunch on Amazon. So I thought that was an interesting distinction or hypothesis that he shared with us.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think it's up to the brand at that point to understand what kind of organic reach they're going to get from posting to social media, because my head is so far deep in the sand of Amazon that I don't know a whole lot about what goes on with other channels like Facebook and Google SEO and AdWords as much as what goes on with Amazon. But it's been made very, very clear by Facebook, which owns Instagram, and then, the other social platforms taper off pretty strongly after those two, that you need to pay to play with those platforms. And so just sort of tweeting out or putting a post out with a coupon code to your followers isn't going to get a lot of organic reach. You might only reach a couple dozen people, and those people, the offer may or may not resonate with them. So you may need to be looking at a paid strategy for social, but that is, that's a whole separate conversation and sort of outside the realm of our expertise. But I would just want to point that out, that to get good reach these days, you need to be boosting that content.
That's a good thing to point out, most definitely.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to also point out is related back to your point about the leveraging Amazon's fulfillment options. This was something that a guest in a previous episode, Joe Ganunda from The Dirt, pointed out as part of their strategy, is that they have their own warehouse that they fulfill orders from. That's their preferred fulfillment channel. But when they're running low on inventory, they fulfill from Amazon. They can use Amazon's kind of white label, I guess, fulfillment option called multi-channel fulfillment. I'll link up to a blog article on this in the show notes. That's another really great way that you can leverage Amazon when you run out of inventory on your own site. So going back to the point about channels being blended and, wanting to leverage the best elements of each, that's another way that you can kind of use Amazon's fulfillment capabilities elsewhere as well.
Kind of the flip side
yes.
of this episode title of, how to leverage then Amazon for the benefit of your brand.
Yeah. Just to put another dimension on it.
The layers and layers here.
Yeah, this is a really great episode. There's a lot to this. Obviously, I'm glad you touched on all of the branding opportunities and the marketing opportunities within Amazon that you can share externally, and then how to use external channels as well to boost a launch. It's so critical in those first couple of months to get momentum, and one of the best ways to do that is through leveraging your outside assets. So thanks for a great recap. And thank you, Jessie, for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Jessie. And thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed the episode, Kiri.
Great. We'll catch you next week.